Let's talk about the Birdman right now. What's going on YouTube? 0088 here. We are talking about grifters and woke and anti-woke, okay? And I had a little tiff with the Birdman on one of his previous videos until he blocked me because he didn't like my opinion, I guess, that I thought he was being a bit too harsh, just simply calling Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker and the like grifters. But we're going to find out what he actually thinks a grifter is through all his videos here, or at least one of the videos here. Let's see. We're looking at exposing the grift, ugly female character. We're going to see what Birdman's take is. And then we're going to move on to Altiori, who made a very good video about our critical YouTubers, good or bad. But we'll look at Birdman's first.
I simply missed it, but how about a video?
Let's read this. Look, I respect you, Birdman, and your opinions. However, let's be frank. People are just honestly tired of things that interject realism in an otherwise fictional realms. Why is it you talk about these trailers, but there wasn't any discussion or video when Dragon Age, Veilguard, or Dustborn had shown up? They also had grifters pushing anti-woke narrative. What makes these two different? Is it that despite the claims, people have gotten sick of having to see attempts at realism when we want to escape from reality and not have to see characters that look like those very people? The issue everyone has is the characters should look appealing, not look like they're trying to go to some rally. I mean, let's be frank. I don't see any big, hairy, fat, ugly men as main characters. Is he going to try and get Mario up with his top off or something? They're still strong, sexy, muscular men. They've always been. Why would that be okay to do? But wanting more physically appealing females is considering being a grifter. Now, I feel like Birdman's argument is going to be, oh, but they are attractive females. You just, what's the new word now the kids are saying? I can't remember the damn word. I can't remember the word, but you know what word I'm talking about, where if you want a female to be attractive, they call you some word that basically means you're a horny bastard and all you think about is sex and porn. Yeah, I think that's what Birdman's basically going to say, that they're attractive and that he's just a horny kid or something. I wouldn't make this argument fully. I agree with the idea that they're definitely trying to make the men attractive, but that's what Birdman's got to say.
I think Grizz asks a question that is worth responding to because there's a larger issue happening here that warrants analysis. But before we get to that, let me answer Grizz's question. In my video, Exposing the Grift, What is Grifting, I spoke about the trailers for The Witcher and Intergalactic and not Dragon Age because, well, I'd seen those trailers. In fact, the footage I used in that video for The Witcher was literally from my...
I'm going to try not to pause it too much because I know he gets really upset if you pause when he's trying to make a point.
...stream of the Game Awards. I am speaking about something I actually witnessed.
Bro... Come on, man. You're telling me you didn't see none of the Dragon Age shit? None of it? No, I know if he ever sees this video, he's like, let me say what I'm going to say. But I have to say that.
You can probably see where I'm going with this.
Otherwise, I might just watch the whole video and then respond to that, which is stupid.
Nor do I have any interest in playing Dragon Age Veilguard. I know almost nothing about the game outside of me retweeting the cynical grifter.
I know nothing about the game. Yeah, I made this video. It got me the most views I've ever gotten in ages. Let me see. Well, it's nothing to you, but for a small guy like me, it was a lot. Let me see if I can get it up. And I've never even played a Dragon Age game. It's called Dragon Age,
for a long time,
Veilguard,
here and there.
Is Everything Wrong with Modern Entertainment? And I've never played a Dragon Age game, but I watched enough videos, got enough information, and gave my take on why there's so much hate. Because everything people were saying about the game, especially when people like Skill Up, Just Matty Plays, or whatever his name is, and even Luke Stevens were like having issues with the game, like normies, you know, the people that probably would be friends with Birdman, you know, like even they were having problems with the game's narrative and what they were injecting in it and how it felt inauthentic and all this kind of stuff. So I had to make a video about it because I've experienced the same thing for things that I love, franchises that I love, you know. You could definitely talk about it if people are talking about it. I guess his answer is going to be, I'm not a grifter, so I'm not going to talk about something I don't know about. I mean, yes, you shouldn't talk about something you don't know about. You're into video games. You're into the arguments about people grifting. And definitely Dragon Age was one of the biggest things you could have looked into if you wanted to talk about people grifting, right?
Whining about this game, which pissed off a plastic spoon for some reason. You see, I prefer science fiction. It's my favorite genre in anything, from my favorite novel to my favorite movie and my favorite video game. Oh, look at that. It's another BioWare game, and a game that neatly makes my point. I have always...
Oh my god, he's literally used the Jack thing. Look at her lips, look at her eyes, and compare that to fucking... What's her name? I can't remember her name, man. The chicken intergalactic. You really gonna compare this to her face?
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
She's bald, guys. Like, we have a problem with bald female characters. I said it on his video and he got triggered. Jack comes from a different time. Same with Sarah Connor and same with Ellen Ripley, where we weren't oversaturated with these masculine, ugly, annoying, badly written female characters, right? So because we got those characters back then, and those characters were well written, there were far few in between. They weren't written with their gender in mind or what they're trying to present or represent in mind. They were just written to be characters. Whereas characters today that look like this, and they don't even look this good, they're trying to represent something, or they're trying to make a point, or they're trying to make a statement, and they keep doing that, and it usually ends up ruining the narrative. You can see it a mile away. And look, at the end of the day, people don't like being preached to. People don't like being told what to think or how they should think about something or how to feel about something. They just want to be entertained, and if you have to have a message, if you have to have a political message in your story, ask your audience to think, or ask what they think about the message that you're trying to portray in your story. Don't force it down their throats. Just do Hideo Kojima. He presents the political landscape. He has the characters arguing back and forth equally with each other. And even sometimes when you win as the good guy, they still question themselves about if they've done the right thing or not. That's not how political stuff is written today. And plus, it's not even got anything to do with the story. It's just outside influence of what a modern female should look like, put in a world where it's got nothing to do with that 2025, 2024 look.
Avoided the Dragon Age games because I prefer Mass Effect. The games have very similar mechanics, including a morality system and the ability to create a character. But
He'd probably reply to all that and say, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. Oh my God.
Just not.
Look at what she's got, her boobs out, nipple and everything. She's got a big full lips, makeup, nice eyes. And you're going to compare this to...
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your...
You think Neil Druckmann would make this? Never.
So believe me when I say I didn't fail to mention Dragon Age because of malicious intent. I failed to mention Dragon Age because I simply couldn't care less about that game and basically forgot it exists. And hell, I don't even know what a Dustborn is. I had to look it up for this video and I still couldn't tell you what the controversy surrounding this game was about. I fired up Steam to peruse the reviews for it and came away with 73% of all purchasers rated it positively. So my takeaway is that the loud minority is being loud again, likely about a non-issue that I can't actually be bothered to research, but if I did, it would probably be a non-issue. But here's where I take issue with your comment, Grizz, and we finally get to the thesis of this video. I don't think anywhere in my previous video I made the case that wanting appealing female characters makes someone a grifter. I'm almost certain my point was that grifters are people that take advantage of true believers. That is to say, in this context, a grifter would pretend to be upset about so-called unappealing female characters so that people like you, who are actually upset about it, will click their video and give them money.
Ooh, that's an interesting thought there. How do you know they're pretending to hate this stuff? Like, what makes you the arbiter of this guy's pretending, this guy's telling the truth, I can tell, but this guy's pretending? Because I don't have the evidence that you agree with or evidence that you like? Like, just to say this, the same way I looked into Dragon Age. I don't care about Dragon Age. I never played it before. I admit that. Maybe the other people complaining about it wouldn't admit that, but I would admit that I never played Dragon Age before. I wasn't into it, but I was into the people that were talking about it, and I wanted to make a video about the idea of what's happening in Dragon Age, especially when normies were making videos about it. People like Skill Up and stuff, people that have no real like foothold in the culture war. They just make videos, they just make reviews. I was like, it's getting bad if Skill Up is talking this much trash about Dragon Age, you know, and saying basically it's woke without using the word woke. That's literally what he did in his video. It was scathing. So I had to make a video about it because I was just, it intrigued me. I got interested looking into this stuff. But that's my story anyway. I know not all the people that talk about it are going to be like that. They're just going to make a 5-minute video and you're going to call them a grifter, and they are trying to make money off the hot topic. But how is that different from any news site or any journalist website? If the Daily Mail, the Guardian, New York Times, I don't know, Forbes makes an article about something, you think those people love that thing every time? Maybe they might hire the person that might like that thing. That's the whole reason why legacy media is dying, because they literally are so out of touch with all this kind of shit. It's their job. Like, people have to make a living. You got all the Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, all these people, they don't do anything else but YouTube. This is their job now, so they got to talk about this stuff, even stuff they might not always be interested in. So they're going to look into it, look at what people are having issues with, and then talk about it. I mean, you can call it grifting, but I call it that's their job, you know?
Next, a grifter would pretend to be upset about so-called unappealing female characters so that people like you, who are actually upset about it, will click their video and give them money. I don't think it's a coincidence that every single one of these people are making the same argument at the exact same time.
Of course, because everyone's talking about it. The game had just come out. So, of course, people are going to talk about something that's just come out. It's the same way everyone was talking about Infinity War when it first came out. Something comes out that's new, people are going to latch on and talk about it, negative or positive, right?
I mean, don't you find it strange that all these people all agree on the exact same topics more often than not? Does that seem organic to you? I have real friends in real life and 4 younger brothers, and let me tell you, it would be a miracle to get all of us to agree on anything as often as these people agree on these kinds of topics.
I don't know. I mean, there is something that's happening on the internet where people just want to have the same opinion, for sure, 100%. But you can't just bullshit your way through that. People have to already be kind of feeling that. Like you just said it yourself. You're talking to this guy, you're telling him he genuinely hates this shit. I don't know, it's crazy.
It's almost like if one of them steps out of line, they're no longer in the club.
Using these clips of these guys, they literally made a whole live stream I've seen once where they literally disagree with each other heavily. I even made a video response to it where Critical Drinker and Mauler were having a kind of debate about Fallout, the TV show. Critical Drinker liked it, Mauler hated it, and they were debating about it. More often than not, they're probably going to agree. And there's a reason you're friends with these friends that you brought up here. Yes, you're all probably going to have different opinions slightly about certain things. Even Kramer here. But the thing is, you're probably all friends because you mostly agree on most things, right here and there, you know? You have basic agreements, you know? I mean, yeah, maybe he doesn't like Star Wars as much as you do or whatever, but you probably like movies, you probably like games, you wouldn't be friends with someone. If you're calling these guys your friends, you wouldn't be friends with them unless you had a few things in common. That's what I'm trying to say, yeah. So these people that you're talking about now, they like each other because they mostly agree. They're not going to always 100% agree, but they mostly agree.
We just talked about One Piece for 5 minutes, yes or no?
We didn't.
Yes,
One Piece was used, but we didn't talk about it.
No. Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing, and then we build the narrative out of it. Don't act like that's not what we do.
I don't build a narrative. I
You
give
are an
my
absolute
opinion.
fucking...
You are hard.
We do.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's joking there, right? He's like, he's literally baited you. Like, isn't this?
No,
minutes, yes or
we
no?
didn't.
Yes
One
or no?
Piece was used, but we didn't talk about it.
No.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing, and then we build the narrative out of it. Don't act like that's not what we
I
do.
don't build a narrative. I
You
give
are an
my
absolute
opinion.
fucking...
You are hard.
We do. You've made the same fucking video on the same topic at least 7 times a week, Ryan. And you're going to act like we don't do that.
I talk...
So they're literally calling each other out on the thing that you're trying to call them out on. And you're saying somehow they're being dishonest, even though they're saying it live for everybody to see. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I talked
Larson
about.
says one fucking thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
But I've digressed for too long. Ugly female characters. Let's get to it.
Oh, we ain't even started yet.
I saw something in Grizz's comment that I've been seeing rather often recently, and that's this idea that male characters in video games are always appealing and that female characters are not. As a matter of fact, I recently replied to someone else saying this exact thing and provided examples that dispel.
I agreed with all your points up until here, and yes, that women is ugly. I prefer women with more feminine touch to it. Was never a fan of tomboys, which most of these women, if not all of them, you showed after not my cup of tea. That's why I like Princess Peach on the Mario movie. She looks feminine and is a badass at the same time. That's why we need more of those and less of that. I'm against the entire idea of a woman needing to look manly in order to do badass things. The oldest example we have is Lara Croft. That's badass, doesn't
This notion.
This is about denying men eye candy. It's misandry. It's about the male game.
My friend, there's a woman back here. Like, she's right there. There are 4 people in the image. And that's what I was saying. Is that there are 4 people, but we know which one he was focused on.
Did you just call her 2 people?
This woman is an Oscar nominee, if I'm not mistaken. So it seems like she was just the right person.
But then again, look, she looks a lot better here. Why doesn't she look like this in the movie? I mean, maybe, I guess, obviously she's playing a comedic, idiotic character, but that's a lot more eye candy than what is in the movie. Why'd they ugly her up in the movie, though, if she looks like this in real life? Is that they want her to play an ugly character? They love doing that to black women. And you got people like Birdman defending it.
The part, there are other frames from the trailer they could have chosen, but they went with this one, and we know why. And it's not just because she's fat, man. I mean, there's a black woman in the Sonic movie. She's fucking beautiful, gorgeous, stunning.
Why have an interracial couple? I found it distracting. Like, are they pandering, social engineering? Weird choice. Well, this is stupid. I agree with Birdman here. This is dumb. Like, I've said it before in my previous videos. When you're fighting this woke stuff, and I say woke because it's just, people know what I'm talking about if I say woke. If I have to say when you're fighting this politically correct, anti-SJW, whatever fucking buzzword you want me to use, whenever you're fighting this stuff, there's always going to be people that latch on that are bad actors in everything, Now, if you call out the bad actors, fair enough, I can't be mad at you. But he's always got to make it this huge fucking thing where it's just derailing the whole argument. He'll sometimes get a good shout and see the bullshit, but then he'll just take the whole baby out of the bathwater and everything, And I know he doesn't care about anti-woke stuff or anything like that, or he's obviously happy with all media being lame like this. But yeah, I ain't mad at you for calling this guy out, but the problem is you don't just call things like this out. I don't align with left wing or right wing or anything. I just want my entertainment to be good. I want it to be made from passion and made from talent, not made from DEI, not made from check boxes, not made from people that just want to make some kind of political statement or to make a political point in spite of the art that they're trying to make. Don't make art to make politics. Use politics to make art. Sure. And he found one random comment. It's not like it's a big YouTuber saying that. I don't think I've ever seen a big, proper big YouTuber who's able to say something like that. The closest one is Synthetic Man. And everyone thinks he's an idiot. Even people like Mauler and stuff. And I think Critical Drinker and Nerdroid, they literally hate Synthetic Man. They think he's too far gone, but you would probably say he's not using enough dog whistles for their liking, right?
Trevor is one of the 3 main...
I've seen someone make this point to me before about Trevor.
Characters.
Franklin's handsome, though. You have a choice here, right? Even Michael's relatively handsome, but he's a dad, so he's got the dad bod aesthetic. That's his character. Trevor is meant to be a fucking crazy mental lunatic, and the ugliness just accentuates that. If you deleted Michael and deleted deleted Michael and he deleted Franklin, Trevor alone probably wouldn't be that appealing of a character. People probably wouldn't like it that much. I mean, they won't make massive videos about it or anything because it's GTA, but I don't know if he'd be that popular on his own. I know he's one of the most popular characters out of this trio, but that's because he's juxtaposed with these two in the whole game, you know, like without these two there, I don't know.
In one of the biggest games of all time. I don't really think I need to explain why he's unattractive, as it...
But they're making the women look like him now, man.
But what about the mascot of Nintendo? A pudgy,
I told you he was going to bring up Mario. Mario's good looking, man. Don't diss him like that.
Italian
look at
immigrant
smile,
with
look
a
at
heavy
face.
accent and a nose the size of a mango. Super hot, apparently. I look at Kratos from God of War and I don't see a sexually appealing man.
I used to think Birdman's gay. Like, I swear, I thought he might be, you know, gay or something. Like, he has the vibes a little bit. But you don't think women would... This is like masculinity. Like, I don't know even how to explain this, but trust me, because what men want to be and what women like is very different from what women want to be and what men like, you know? But I think he probably thinks the equivalent of Kratos, of a female version of Kratos, would be just this exact thing, but with long hair. And actually, not even the long hair, bald now, apparently. Just basically this. Again, that's what he thinks a female version of Kratos would actually legitimately be.
But a grizzled old man, a veteran of war, and someone who's tired. My point is, in most games, there's a wide variety of male characters.
They use Street Fighter as well. Look, you can't use Street Fighter, you can't use fighting games as an example because there's a multitude of characters you can choose from. And funny enough, there's attractive ones. And funny enough, the lead characters, the main characters, the ones they promote, the ones they put on the box art, Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and those three are pretty attractive, I'd say. I think you're showing E Honda and Rufus like those are the main guys, and the fact that they have options. You're not forced to play only as Rufus. So there's options of attractive characters versus ugly characters. And so if you want to bring up something like Concord, which has multiple characters you can pick from, all of them were unappealing. There wasn't even one attractive in Concord. They wouldn't even do it. They wouldn't dare.
The wide range of appearances. The idea that there are no main male characters that are fat and hairy depends on your definition of fat and hairy. And that's really the crux of the issue. Personal preferences. If I may speak about myself for a moment, I don't care what a character in a video game looks like. I've said this before.
I care what a character in a video game looks like. I think it's important. But it depends. It's like, does it make sense to the story? Does it make sense to the world? Is she appealing to look at, or is he appealing to look at? And that means different things for different people, which I think he's trying to say here. But there's a on average universal attraction that we can all recognize as attractive, right? And video games, movies, television have been doing that since it's existed. You know, since the 20s, there's always been attractive women and men on screen for us to look at, you know? And video games is no different. So you may not care, but people definitely care, you know? Like, if Solid Snake looked like this, that would be off-putting.
But in a game like, say, Intergalactic, I'm going to be looking at the main character from behind almost the entire game, and by extension...
I hate this argument so much. You're going to still see her face in cutscenes, right? Like, you're still going to know what she looks like. Doesn't matter if you see it from 90% of the time. That is such a dumb argument. It's not about seeing her from behind 90% of the time. You want to know that you're playing a cool character. Why do people still create their characters to look good in a game like Cyberpunk, where it's first person, you can't even see your character 90% of the time, but people still want to create the characters to look good?
I'll actually be looking at the monsters I'm fighting, which is a little trick I picked up as a Street Fighter player. If you're looking at your character and not your opponent, you're very likely bad at the game. Even in a game where the main character's design was almost assuredly titillation, like, I don't know, Stellar Blade, this was mine.
Look, you're enjoying it. I can see your face right here, fam. You're enjoying this shit. Look at him. Look at his face. He's like that. He's like, yeah. And then you're gonna have the audacity to make this video I'm playing, but he does kind of look like he's enjoying it.
Titillation, like, oh, I don't know, Stellar Blade. This was my reaction to Eve.
See, he loves it. He loves it. That play. I know he got mad. He's probably got mad. Why are you pausing? I'm just about to show you my reaction. Why are you pausing it?
10 out of 10, we win.
For me, it's all a big joke. Near nudity and overtly sexual characters in video.
But then remember, I said you're a little bit, I thought you might be a bit, you know, that's not an insult. If you take it as an insult, that's on you, fam. But I thought, I do get the vibes that you could be gay or something. And so it wouldn't really surprise me if you didn't think that was fun to look at or anything. But
Games is something to laugh at for me. I don't get my rocks off from fictional characters made out of pixels on a screen. By the 15th hour, my
I don't get my rocks off from pixels on the screen.
Video games.
Why are you going to pretend like this shape, like you can't visualize that's attractive and nice to look at, even if it's not a real thing or real person? It's borderline close to realistic. Hell, if you captured that on the phone and showed it to someone, they'd be like, "Who's that person dressed like that?" If you showed it to them quickly, they probably wouldn't even recognize it was a game right away. Don't pretend like you can't see the sexiness of a video game character because it's pixels on a screen, especially when they're ultra realistic like this. You know, you can draw lines and it can still be attractive and get people turned on, you know, because we know what the imagery is supposed to convey. Don't do that disingenuous thing was like, I don't get turned on by pixels on a screen. Come on, man.
Is something to laugh at for me. I don't get my rocks off from fictional characters made out of pixels on a screen. By the 15th hour, my main concern was getting my ass kicked by Raven for the past 2 hours due to the insane difficulty spike. But that's a story for another time.
Well, yeah, agreed. Of course, you're not going to just sit there and stare at them when you're trying to survive a flipping hard fight. But then after you finish the fight, you get the extra nice bonus of when you're doing the calm moments to check out, you know, how nice Eve looks. You're like, okay, yeah, she's looking good right now. Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, for me, I don't really care for Eve. I played Celebrate the demo and I didn't buy it. I didn't really care, but I'm happy people are having fun with it. Like, just let people do their thing, innit? Like, let them have fun with it. Who cares, man? If people want attractive female characters, let them campaign for that shit. If you don't care either way, why does it bother you? I don't even know what you're trying to say, because at least if you were like a proper feminist, or if you were like proper left-leaning, because I know you claim that you're not a political person, you just want consistency or something. I don't know what you're doing, but at least I'd understand your ideology or why this bothers you when people want hot female characters or something. But just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean you can come in and say, you know, you're wrong or whatever. Let them campaign for it. It's not ruining your fun either way, right? You're still playing the game. I don't get it.
You see, I care about the game, the mechanics, the story. What Eve looked like was not even a tertiary concern to me as a player. It could be that I'm a mature adult that has healthy relationships with women, but I don't even view video game characters as women. This was precisely my issue with Anita Sarkeesian's positions all those years ago. Video game characters are not actually women. They're ones and zeros.
Somehow we both agree that Anita Sarkeesian's a fucking twat. Though you'll probably say, no, I didn't say that. But we both agree that her videos are bullshit, right? But somehow you managed to make it you make that argument in the most nonsensical way possible. They're just a bunch of ones and zeros. It doesn't matter what they look like. So by your logic, if they say, we've released a brand new Superman game based on James Gunn's new Superman movie, and then they're going to put a giant one on the screen, and that's Superman, a white one, because it's a one, and it's just, the idea is just to play the mechanics of the game and enjoy the mechanics of the gameplay. How Superman looks doesn't even matter to you. Like, it doesn't matter that he's now a giant one on the screen. What do you mean ones and zeros? What the hell?
So this idea that what we do to these characters in games matters for the real world has always been a laughable idea to me.
And Anita's argument is actually better than yours. That's how bad that is. Anita's saying that female characters in games can create a warped male gazy view of women is a better argument than you making about that. Doesn't matter, Anita. It's all ones and zeros.
So that's
Now I
where
don't
I'm
know what your
coming
argument is
from when I'm
anymore.
talking about this topic. I literally don't care what original characters look like. To me, they are a vehicle used to...
If you don't care what they look like, then you shouldn't be caring about this whole topic altogether then. You shouldn't even care that people are talking about this. You shouldn't even be making this video. Now I'm starting to think maybe you're the grifter.
explore the world of a game.
It's finding out what men like and purposely not giving it to us and saying, see, this is what you get.
See, like, if you don't kill... Well, this isn't a video game now. This is a movie, so maybe it's a bit different, I suppose.
When I look at Ciri in The Witcher 4, first of all,
now you've really made me feel differently about this, man. Like, because you've said you don't care, you see them as ones and zeros. They could look like Eve or they could look like Blanca. Like, it doesn't bother you because at the end of the day, it's all ones and zeros. Why are you even responding to this whole Ciri thing or argument or making this whole video? I don't get it.
I don't see anything other than a conventionally attractive character. I mean, I get the snap reaction to Jordan in Intergalactic. Visually, it's easy to see what makes these people whine.
So go on.
A shaved head.
That's just one aspect of it. There's about a multitude of aspects that make people whine, as you said. Right. She just looks fucking annoying. Look at that face. Like, she looks so arrogant. And this face, behind it is a whole backlog for the last 10, 15 years of female characters just like her. That's what her face represents right there. And if she had made this face in 2005, 2004, 1999, it might even be kind of cool. But because she's making this face after a whole backlog of other female characters making this kind of face, it just enrages, because we know what this means, especially because Naughty Dog is making it, because Neil Druckmann is behind this, because of what he's done before, because of what he's said himself out of his own mouth about how he wants to make games not sexist, and he wants to make games for his daughter when she grows up, and he's talking about misogyny and sexism in video games, and how he had to make, you know, this big butch female character beat up the male character that everybody loved from the previous game in Last of Us and basically kill him right at the start of the game. We don't even get time with the paragon male from the previous game, you know. He was supposed to be like a paragon character for Ellie. We didn't even get that shit. Nadine from Uncharted, where she's just sitting there and kicking the shit out of Nathan Drake and his brother at the same time. You're controlling Nathan Drake and you can't even beat her. I don't think I've ever played a game where they made a character that's on average going to be weaker than men, has no powers, has nothing about her except maybe she's got some training background. In reality, if two full-grown men jumped on her, no matter how much training she's had, with no weapons, she'll get her ass beat. You know, and Nathan and his brother weren't holding back either. So this is the man that's making this game, and you want us to just... Immediately I saw this, and immediately I knew it was Naughty Dog. I already knew what it was going to be, or what it was most likely going to be, and that's it. And I know this word triggers you, but it's pattern recognition. That's what it is. It's just simple pattern recognition. And you can hate the argument all you want, but if this was 1999, maybe this wouldn't be so bad. But there's a lot said in this one picture here, and it's not just about her bald head.
Easy to see what makes these people whine. A shaved head.
I feel like people can't really verbalize it. I'm barely able to verbalize it myself, but I feel like people can't even verbalize it where they can explain why it irritates them. Because they know, they feel it's wrong, they can sense it's wrong, but they just can't they can't understand it. And that's probably why people like Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic and Asmongold and all those kinds of people that make videos talking about this stuff that maybe can express themselves a little bit better, a little bit more clearly, resonates with people because they know, they feel the thing that's wrong, they just can't explain why they feel it's wrong. Or maybe they're even shamed amongst their peers in a way where they can't even express themselves it's wrong, or just they go pretend they love it.
It's a stupid ass criticism because women with shaved heads kids is as common to science fiction as lasers and robots are.
Wow. Oh, anyway, I've said my piece. Everything you say after this point is going to be wrong now because you already know it's not just a shaved head.
Furiosa, Evie, Ellen Ripley, the Dora Milaje, the Bene Gesserit in Dune, Chara in The Matrix Reloaded, Nebula, Lieutenant Ilia in Star Trek.
You literally disproving your own point. Like, if all these characters were fine, so what reason do you think it is then? Because even you got to be like, well, they liked all these characters. Why don't they like her? Oh yeah, you've already Grift.
The Ancient One. This tall glass of grade A Welch's grape from The Fifth Element. Look, if I named all the bald...
She's way more attractive than that. The thing is, this actress is actually attractive in real life. But look what they've done to her. She looks like a little boy. Anyway, someone called her Orlando Brown. And she does kind of look like him. Anyway, she definitely doesn't look as good as that. Trust me, if she was bald and had these kind of makeup done and she had this kind of look on her face, feminine, I don't think people would have that much of an issue. They'd probably think, who is she? What's she about? But her face looks like this.
Named all the bald women in sci-fi, we'd be here all day. The point is, people crying about this are exposing themselves as not being fans of sci-fi, as this design is incredibly common for the genre. Which of course means they likely weren't even going to buy the
You are lost
place. But again, I digress. Ciri is not bald. She has a head full of hair. So what are we talking about again? Oh, that's right. That she's apparently masculine because she's a witcher now. But again, this just exposes these people as not actually playing the games they're complaining about, because Ciri became a witcher in one of the endings of The Witcher 3.
One of the endings, right? But I guess people didn't feel like that was the canon ending. Look, I've played Witcher, but I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know exactly what happens with Ciri. I said in my video that I didn't think Ciri's character was a woke design. I don't think she's woke. I think what people don't like is, I think V explained it best in his video, is that her energy gives off heavy masculine energy in that trailer, you know, like, and she just, he said if you took her out and put Geralt in, it wouldn't look different at all. It would look fine. Like, it wouldn't look odd, you know, it wouldn't look like Geralt's a bit, you know, gay.
Witcher now.
Well, I think that's what makes her seem ugly. Again, people can't verbalize it, but I think it's the way she's carrying herself feels masculine, which makes her look kind of masculine subconsciously. I think that's what's going on. But I don't have a problem with how she looks. She's older, she's a witch or whatever. I'm not super into the lore, but then if someone's really deep into the lore and loves this stuff, they might feel a type of way about it. I don't know how important to the lore it is that only men can be witches. I know that was a big thing, but I don't know if that's something that can be changed in a way that's not disrespectful or not. That's up to people that are huge fans of The Witcher to discuss. And I'd probably have more of an opinion on it if I was a huge fan of it myself. And yes, now thinking back to the Dragon Age video, I did make that video not being a fan of the series, but there was a broader point I wanted to make with that Dragon Age video. And the broader point was about how modern entertainment is dying because these people don't have passion for the thing they're actually making. And the Dragon Age stuff triggered me because it's happened to stuff that I genuinely love. So it was definitely an opportunity to talk about that.
The games they're complaining about, because Ciri became a witcher in one of the endings of The Witcher 3.
May I?
Not here. You'll have ample opportunity soon enough, Witcher.
Let's try it out then.
Thanks for spoiling it for me, dude.
So there you go. This is a textbook example.
Yeah, even in my video, I said she doesn't look that bad, man. Like, look, see, I'm able to decipher when, like, and it's not a massive deal. Like when, okay, this is getting silly. Like, but I'll agree with the Intergalactic because I know everything else that's happening behind that game. Whereas Witcher, I mean, it could lead to a problem because with CD Projekt Red, that's my biggest issue. What CD Projekt Red said out of their own mouths, that they said they wanted to go down this whole political woke path, you know. I don't think she looks more masculine. I don't think she looks that different from this. It just looks more realistic lighting. Her eyes could definitely be a bit lighter, but that looks more like a magic thing, but then wham to a magic. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. But yeah, Ciri doesn't look that bad to me personally. I know some people have an issue with it, whatever, but CD Projekt Red making her seem more masculine could be in line with the new way they're moving now, especially when you've heard about the Rebel Wolves developers who used to be CD Projekt Red developers that have left CD Projekt Red to go and make their own game, which looks awesome, by the way. That vampire game, they call themselves Rebel Wolves, where CD Projekt Red's logo was a wolf, right? Because of The Witcher. So what does that tell you? Conspiracy theory, but
of how the grift works. People who clearly haven't even played these games talking about these games as if they're experts on them. You know, exactly what I didn't do for Dragon Age. And sure,
you don't have to be an expert, dude. So my Dragon Age video was just using that as a backdrop to talk about a greater point of what's going on in entertainment, because it is happening all over entertainment. That's how you could have done it if you wanted to, but you're going to try and, you know, use that as a way to flex that, oh, look, I don't talk about things I don't understand. Yeah, I bet you don't.
These people may not have gotten the ending where she winds up becoming a Witcher, but I would counter with this. Who the hell plays a game with multiple endings and doesn't at least watch the other endings on YouTube? I mean, if
that's your counter? They wouldn't be on social media complaining about this stuff if they didn't already know that there was another ending. So you're giving them too much leeway on that one. Like, they know that there's other endings. Don't worry, Birdman. They know. They just don't care. They don't see that as the legitimate ending.
If you played a game as large as Witcher 3 and aren't doing multiple playthroughs, you have to at least be curious about what you missed out on, right? The inclusion of so-called ugly female characters in media properties is, in my opinion, a whatever thing. Beauty standards are subjective and often dictated by cultural norms that don't encompass the full spectrum of the human experience. What you like may not be...
Critical Drinker didn't fuck up like you did, man. Like, he didn't say, I don't actually care about all this, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Like, you literally said that in this video. Like, I don't care how they look either way. There could be a giant one on the screen. There could be ones and zeros. I don't care. But I'm going to talk about this. You sound more like a grifter than he does, man. At least he didn't mention that.
What I like. But by embracing characters who defy conventional beauty norms, creators not only challenge audiences to broaden their perspectives, but also provide relatable figures for those of us who have felt excluded or undervalued. This is literally why Black Panther exists, because Stan Lee thought there weren't enough positive representations of black people in comics. This representation under...
And look how beautiful that was. He fucking did it right. He said, you know what? There's not enough black people in comics. Let me create a fucking brand new original black character. He didn't turn Peter Parker black. He didn't make a black version of Spider-Man. He didn't do any of that bullshit. He made a brand new black character of his own history, his own culture, his own lore. He didn't just replace. Like, that's what they do too much in Hollywood now, man. And it's not authentic, and it just reverts back to the white one anyway. And all you guys will be cheering it on like idiots, not realizing they're just taking a piss at you, giving you their scraps and shit.
Underscores the idea that value and worth are not determined by appearance, but by character, intellect, and actions. Allowing the physical appearance of a character to color your opinion of a media property is both short-sighted and reductive. A character's design is a deliberate choice made to serve a story or reflect a particular form of characterization, a perfect example being Ellen Ripley in Alien 3, who shaved her head because...
But what does it matter? As long as it's ones and zeros, right? It doesn't need to serve a story.
Of the events in the story, not to piss off the audience or stick it to men that only like women with long hair.
But the problem is there are people that do that. That's the issue. The reason why people didn't complain about Ellen Ripley is because they could recognize it was for the story. Though maybe today they won't recognize that now if this movie came out, because the pattern recognition will be telling them, oh shit, it's this shit again. And we've seen it multiple times consistently, that they keep doing this just to piss us off. They've even said it. They're clear as they say it. Oh, we're going to do this to piss off the chuds. Or at least the journalists say it. You know, if the creators aren't going to say it themselves.
The outright dismissal of a property based on characters like these overlooks the intention of the story, reducing complex, multifaceted works to simple visual judgments. A truly engaging narrative often thrives on diversity in its characters, giving us a richer tapestry of the human experience and a more lived-in world. By having a variety of appearances in the...
There's no story reason for Mary Jane to look like this, dude. There is no story reason for her to look like this, fam. Especially considering Mary Jane is supposed to be hot. That's part of literally her character trait. She's not even a reporter. She's meant to be like a model or actress. They literally changed her from what she was originally intended for a political reason. And you're saying they're doing this just to convey a story point.
Variety of appearances in these properties, creators allow audiences to see beauty in diversity. In my view, compelling storytelling takes precedence over superficial aesthetics, allowing media properties to be appreciated for their artistic and thematic merits rather than being reduced to caricatures to ridicule by people who don't share our love for these properties. I mean, seriously, ask yourselves, how many times
argument on the other side
have you heard people shit on anime as if it's not one of the most diverse forms of storytelling? And to the people that are actually upset about so-called ugly female characters in games, I find it hard to empathize with you. But I will say, so do grifters. They don't believe in this stuff. That's why...
This is what I mean when I call this dude a fucking grifter. This became controversial here. He comes with a brain-dead shit take. Is it me, or are character creation screens nothing but a stupid narcissistic waste of time? I think he's saying screens, like screenshots of character creations that people are sharing. I mean, that's his opinion, right? He's entitled to it, no? I mean, you can think that. I don't agree with him, but I don't have to agree with him all the time. Like, if people want to share their creations, why not? But that doesn't mean he's a fucking stupid fucking idiot. He just has a different opinion to me. And I disagree with him. I think it's a dumb opinion, but I won't call him a grifter because of his opinion. But I guess what you're trying to say here is he's a grifter because you don't believe he believes this, and you think he's just saying that because it's appropriate to say it at that moment in time. But maybe something clicked in his head where he decided to come to that conclusion. I don't know. I don't know the context of this here.
This was Will's take, and nothing to do with Dragon Age as a game. Just jumping on the hate train because that's where the outrage was, and by extension, that's where the clicks are. And I get it, having someone speak your thoughts on a large platform may be cathartic, but these people are using you. They are not one of you, they just like your money. So they won't challenge you, and instead seek to nurture the negative emotions you feel towards these concepts, so you keep feeding them clicks, attention, money, views. But I challenge you. I challenge you. I challenge you to judge a game or a movie or a TV show on the basis of its actual content rather than how much you want to sleep with the main character. Because you already do that when it's a guy that looks like this.
There's a reason why they make the women that were bald back in the days look like that instead of like this, you know? Because sex sells. Majority of video gamers are men and boys, and when they're playing as women, they want to be attracted to them as well as like them as a person and all that kind of stuff. Me personally, I'm not really fussed about how attractive she is. I just don't like her look. She looks annoying, she looks irritating, and it's Neil Druckmann made. So I just knew exactly what we're going to get, a snarky and annoying bitch, you know. She could be super cool, maybe I'm wrong, but it's Neil Druckmann. I doubt it. She's going to be like Nadine from Uncharted. And Trevor is just one of many. You can still play as Franklin, you can play as Michael. There's a time and place and there's a culture, and the culture is not accepting these kind of characters because you've cashed it in too much. You've done it too much, and they're usually not likable when they look like this because the writers, the creatives, the politics behind it all have ruined this kind of look. But times are changing, we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's my take, that's my video. If you liked, please give me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for notification. Let me see what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.